Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions, and thank you again so much for our time together. We've been looking forward to seeing you in Revival Nights tonight. I'll be preaching on experiencing the love of God and learning to keep yourself in the waiting room of His love while you wait for His mercy. It'll be a fun study. But right now, I want us to go back and look at Jesus. Sometimes I call Jesus the controversial one because He never shied away from controversy because He was determined to do what's right. Too much of modern Christian leadership is concerned about the marketing viewpoint, the controversy, and you don't want to stir up negatives against you. You want to build your positives and not build your negatives. And when I listen to a lot of the marketing strategy that goes on in churches today and I read the books on it, I just think, Jesus, I think I have a new title for you, the controversial one. Listen to him in Luke chapter 5, beginning with verse 6. On another Sabbath he went into the synagogue and was teaching, and a man was there whose right hand was shriveled. The Pharisees and the teachers of the law were looking for a reason to accuse Jesus. You've always got people looking for the gotcha. Let me say that again. You've always got people looking for the gotcha. You've always got people on the hunt trying to hurt you. So they watched him closely. Your enemies always watch you closely, to see if he would heal on the Sabbath. But Jesus knew what they were thinking and said to the man with the shriveled hand, "Get up and stand in front of everyone." And he got up and stood there. Then Jesus said to them, "I ask you, which is lawful on the Sabbath, to do what is good or to do what is evil, to save life or to destroy it?" He looked around at them all and said to the man, "Stretch out your hand." He did so, and his hand was completely restored. But they were furious and began to discuss with one another what they might do to Jesus. Now I want you to notice here, number one, Jesus did not allow enemies to change his ministry. Number two, Jesus did not allow controversy to change his ministry. Number three, Jesus did not allow false doctrine to stop his ministry. There's so much in the world today that is controversial. There's so much in the world today that has been spoken evil of, and has been made into a controversy. There's so much of that. And if we're not careful, we wouldn't talk about anything. We'd take the crosses out of the church. We would never do a marriage. We wouldn't pray for the sick. At some point, you and I have to decide we're going to do what's right. And if people want to stand there and look for a reason to find fault with us and accuse us, so be it. But we will defy them. And Jesus stood there boldly in front of everybody and defied them to their faces. That's why they hated him. But I would rather defy the enemies than defy the principles of ministry. I would rather defy the enemies who are looking to hurt me than to defy the Word of God and what the Word of God says that we should do. I think as leaders today, there needs to be a little bit more strength and boldness on our insides and be willing to take a punch. Let me say that again. Be willing to take a punch. Do what's right and be willing to suffer for it. At some point, we're going to have to learn to deal with the negatives. We're going to have to pray for the sick and let people criticize us. Praying for the sick is a beautiful biblical thing. We're going to have to teach on tithing and let people criticize us for it. We're going to have to teach people on giving and let people criticize us for it. We're going to have to stand up against homosexuality and lesbianism and let people criticize us for it. We're going to have to stand up against drinking and drugs and smoking marijuana and let people criticize for it. Let the chips fall where they may. But I would rather defy the enemies than defy the Word of God.